For millions of parents who have children with mental illnesses or disorders, the struggle is a daily one.
My son gets this nervousness about him. He doesn't know how to control feelings. He was kicked out of 4 different daycares, kicked out.
I'm Kayla Bryanton, and I'm diagnosed with PTSD and severe anxiety.
Well, what is that?
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder.
We had a son, Michael, who became severely mentally ill at 8 years old. Was hospitalized a number of times. He had 14 prolonged stays in mental institutions. He had several suicide attempts. We were trying to figure out services. He became ill so young. He had tendencies to cut himself and was a risk of suicide even when he was young. It was really hard when he died. I mean, he died by himself, and
he was in the hospital a month, and then when he was discharged, we were just given medication and told to come back and see the doctor in another month. And I remember thinking then, wow, he's not as sick as I thought he was. I guess he's not so bad off if we don't have to go for a month. And then, 3 or 4 months down the road, I realized, I think I better get a different doctor.
if you were a severely mentally ill child, there weren't services out there. And trying to explain it, it was just like speaking a foreign language to so many people. What people don't understand is the sicker a child is, the more services they need, the more complex services they need. And they really need a network of services. And it's not easy.
People I would call would say, put him in custody and the state will take care of him and they'll pay for him to have residential treatment or whatever. If you think that's what he needs. Well, I don't know if that's what he needs.
It's extremely hard to know where to go, who to talk to, but navigating these systems is the most difficult thing any parent has to go through. Parents need someone to talk to who says, I've been there and I've done that. Let me help you.
What we quickly learn is that kids with severe mental health issues don't go away.
They don't get the services and their illness continues to escalate.
So if there's no support within children's mental health or for families directly, sometimes these kids surface in other systems.
They become homeless. Sometimes they become violent.
They may surface in child welfare. Juvenile justice is a common place.
Instead of treating them, you incarcerate them. That costs the state a lot more money.
So there's no such thing as not serving our kids that need mental health support. They do get served, it's just where they get served.
Things were really, really discouraging in children's mental health. There was a lot of attention being paid to adults, virtually no attention being focused on children's mental health.
Child serving agencies were not working together to make sure that children and families got the services they needed.
The outcomes that they were achieving were very, very poor, devastating. There was a realization that something needed to be done. It was really a crisis in children's mental health. Our vision was that there would be a broad array of community-based services, and they'd be individualized and customized to each child and family. And we began to call this a system of care.
A system of care is providers, community members, and families, and coaches, and teachers, doctors, everybody coming together to assist a youth who has a mental health condition. One of the strategies used is wraparound services.
And wraparound literally is wrapping support and help around family.
Everybody that works with you is coming to the table, whether it's your case managers, your probation officer, the school system.
If a system of care is working, you can feel in your gut as a therapist, as a professional, as a parent, as a young person, that everybody's on the same team and they're working together.
As system of care doesn't focus on what a family doesn't have. It's coming in and saying, you know what, you are so good at this. How can we make that work over in this area?
It says, let's figure out not what we can't do, but let's figure out what you can do and what you are doing and what you're able to do.
A system having family input, family-driven, family-focused, and empowering youth to have a say.
It's not an artificial thing. It's not some weird treatment. This is more like, what do you need? How much do you think you need? And how do you want it delivered?
We know that the principles of system care does improve outcomes, and in our state, we've definitely embraced this and have a lot of good experience.
People are being respected as important and as valuable sources of information. It's a real transformative way of thinking and looking and talking.
I've never believed that we needed to have a lot of money to do this work. It's the fact that we don't spend the money we have in the right way.
We can serve many kids at home for the cost of one kid in long-term out-of-home care.
There has been fundamental change in the way our policymakers, our leaders, understand children's mental health, understand how we can improve children's mental health, and how systems of care really work. And I don't think there's any going back.
Kids are more successful in school, they're more successful in their family. Ultimately, they'll be more successful in terms of their occupational achievement.
I love the system of care. Sure enough, I did get my own voice.
Find your own group of friends that actually understand you for you.
Yeah, I actually got support, you know. I am able to talk about things that hurt me the most. I'm able to talk about it.
I went to counseling. I took parent classes. We did play therapy. I had to just change my communication with him.
I can see a big change in Joe, big change.
From age 4, he's had a lot of stability.
We can view the parent as the cause of the problem. We can view the parent as, in some cases, the victim of the child's behavior and the circumstance. Or we can view the parent and other adult family members as the sources of solution.
People used to tell me when I was little, Kayla, you talk too much. You need to stop talking. Oh man, you talk so much you should be a lawyer. You know, it was always a bad thing. Those flaws that people point out, you can also use those in a positive way, and that's what I've learned to do with doing public speaking or just speaking on my behalf for myself.
Been a long journey, a hard one, long one, but it's worth it.
For me personally, what I'm doing it for is not only to like help myself, because it makes me feel better when I help other kids, but to let them know like I'm not perfect. I did some things I'm not proud of. I've been through a lot, but that doesn't mean that you have to give up. That doesn't mean that you can't stand up for what you believe in or what's right or to move forward. I know that there's so many kids that's going through what I'm going through, and they need help. So if I can help them, then I'm gonna do it. I know the feeling of everybody giving up on someone and not having anyone there. So if I give up on myself, I'm giving up on thousands of other people. And I know the feeling of being let down.